Okay, so what's really different about what you and Brandon have done with Wise Codings, so different than so many other founders, is most founders have a concept they've created, they've built, over the years, they've tweaked. They don't have all the systems and processes in place because they kind of did it, second nature, and then they had to build the systems and processes along the way so that when they were ready to franchise, they had their act together, right? In your case, where you did all of this systems and processes first, I would love for you to share with the audience about the importance of scalability in the franchise system and how you were able to ensure from the very beginning that the franchise can grow consistently without, compromising, quality.
Yeah, so going back to the word systems, it's really almost one of the words that we use consistently here. It's if there's not a system for it. And the definition of a system is a documented process. That's it. It doesn't have to be tech. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but a system is simply a documented process. So for us, what you said was exactly right. We came in with the knowledge of these are the 5 systems that you need to be a successful home service business. And then we simply plopped kind of epoxy and polyaspartic flooring into that category. Then moving forward, we really tested, tweaked, and continuously get better at adding and more systems or making systems a little bit better. But you're exactly right. The mom and pop, restaurant or whatever they might want to franchise,
Sure,
doesn't always run as efficiently as it could. And sometimes they bring in consultants to help them systemize so that they can franchise. We went about it the completely opposite way, which helped grow a very solid foundation, which ultimately allowed us to grow very quickly.
yeah, for sure. You really legitimized the book, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. I don't know if you're familiar with Michael Gerber's book, but you basically did what his book says to do.
It's funny when that happens. The E-Myth is one of my favorite books. I'm a true believer, clearly, and it does work.
Yeah.
Funny enough, if you build the systems.
You
One of the quotes that is not by Michael Gerber, but it just lives in my head forever. It's from Atomic Habits. It's you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. We don't want to say we have goals. We have expectations, right? We have standards, I should say, is what we have.
Yes.
Yeah, not goals, but we have standards. Very, very cool. Let's elaborate a little bit on the training and support now on this side of things. So what does training and support look like as a franchisee? I'm trying to get in the space, trying to get in the headspace of what a franchisee looks like. Am I doing all the work hands-on? Am I hiring people? So what does training look like?
Yeah, great question there. So field and support training is something that we take very seriously. So we have a whole department here just dedicated to that. So when you initially become a franchisee, you come here and you train for a week in Orlando, Florida. You get to enjoy our sunny weather. You work both in the classroom and in the field. And then you go home, you set up your onboarding charts, you go through all of your checklists and you get all of your equipment. And then we fly someone out, an expert, to fly out to your grand opening, to be there with you, to do your first couple jobs, to make sure you have an expert in the field. It's a lot less nerve-wracking. Sometimes it can be as simple as like, this thing is not working. It's like, it's not plugged in. It's overwhelming with the amount of things. But as far as, do you have to do the work yourself or can you hire out technicians? My branch, I have 4 different technicians that work every single day. I don't necessarily do any of the work, but I do run the branch. I'm a franchisee and a franchisor. I don't know if you know that, but
Okay.
I have my own location here in Orlando, Florida. So from both perspectives, you can be on the truck and work in the truck if you want to in the floors, or you can hire and have technicians do that.
What do you think are the most important traits you need to be successful as a franchisee?
Consistency. I can say that with 100%. Every ounce of my being is consistency. A little bit of grit. There are going to be things that you get to a point where it feels overwhelming. There are a ton of new things in our training. We tell people you're drinking from a fire hose right now.
Right.
There are going to be things that you don't remember in training. We send them home with, a book that they can reference back to all of the answers that they might have questions to at a later time. And there's also a really great online learning system that has videos and quizzes for even onboarding new technicians, making it really easy for them to come back and get any type of additional support.
Okay. I'm curious to ask about, franchisees themselves, anybody specific. Is there anybody in your franchise system that kind of just wowed you, that they just kind of exceeded your expectations, and what do they do differently to achieve a great level of success in such a short time, really?
Oh man, I have a few that have wowed me. I don't know if I'll name anyone specific. There are several that have just wowed me. There's a Texas location that's really impressive out in Austin. There's a North Carolina branch that's really exciting and is woman owned. Her name is Crystal Greenhaw. The Texas location is owned by two people, Drew and Ken. I think the things that make them stand out to me is they ask questions. And they don't fall behind. They will ask for more training. They will dig in and use their community, their coach. They will really drive down to the root of any issue or anything that they need to find the answer to. It seems so simple, but sometimes in owning a business, it can feel like if I'm asking a question, it feels, well, I'm not good enough, or I failed in this point, or I should know this, but I don't. So I feel intimidated to ask someone.
Right.
And it can feel a little bit lonely. So just ask the question, figure out the answer. We're here for them. We really try to provide a high level of support.
Yeah. There's something to be said though about being curious, not being afraid to ask questions, and really engaging. And for those that do that, will go much further than those that are fear of feeling like I look stupid by asking a question.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a major difference what I see from coaching home service entrepreneurs to coaching franchisees is the community they have around them is so incredibly supportive. Whereas other communities that might be Facebook groups, or they can be sometimes a little bit toxic.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.